Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of The Film Angle. I'm Kris.
And I'm Alex.
And if you tuned in to the end of our last episode, you'd understand that we were starting a new segment last week called The Films That Streaming Forgot, didn't we, Alex?
Yes, yeah. Basically, we have set each other a challenge. You can go back to the last episode, the final 10 minutes or so. We kind of revealed the films to each other. Kris, do you wanna kind of catch people up? What was the film that you got me to watch?
Well, yeah, we essentially set ourselves a task to probably. I didn't know if it was to be cruel or not. We had a sort of conversation about this. I was looking around trying to find something that would be really, really, really punish Alex for just setting this challenge up. So what better movie than Atlantis Untold? Probably the most unwatchable film of all time, as what I've heard from your reaction.
Yeah, not even sure I would consider it a film. That was a difficult watch. And I challenged you to Derailed, which is a kind of, what was that, like a heist train alien film. It looked absolutely
Yeah.
bonkers from the trailer that
Well,
we saw.
Well, obviously, we watched the trailer for Derailed last week, and I think it looked really fun at the time. Fun premise with this like murder on the Orient Express vibe meets creature from the Black Lagoon. When you say it also stars Henriksen, who is famous for playing Android Bishop in the Alien franchise. So that sounds pretty promising. Well, turns out that's a bit of a lie, and I'll get to that.
Definitely. And the reason we kind of started this segment was there's so much on some of these streaming sites that it's difficult to kind of figure out what's worth watching, what isn't. And in particular, Amazon Prime is like a treasure trove of these kind of like B movie, amateur movie. It honestly feels like everybody has made a film and uploaded it to Amazon Prime. There's some stuff on there which honestly beggars belief, doesn't it, in terms of the kind of quality of stuff that you can get. And we just thought, do you know what? Let's watch these films and see if we are scraping the barrel. Are these films that should be forgotten or not? Is it worth it? Is it worth having these films on streaming? That's why we called the segment the films that streaming forgot. And I guess by the end of this, we'll let you know whether they should be forgotten or not.
It's overwhelming, isn't it? I would probably say like these sort of movies actually make up the majority of the Amazon library. If you delve deep enough, there's just constant flow of suggestions out there. And it actually took me hours to even settle on a movie to pick for you. There's that many. Spoiled for
Def-
choice, aren't we?
Definitely. You have to go through the recommended watches like so many times, and you just go further and further into like these crazy genres that you never even knew existed. And it's mad.
Yeah, it's basically like, do I want to be stabbed or do you want to be shot?
Do you know, I kind of love Amazon Prime's library. It's got some really interesting stuff when you delve deeper into it. It's a shame the interface sucks.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst interface. But yeah, and obviously, Amazon is Amazon. Use smile.amazon.co.uk for anybody out there who doesn't know about this. Every time you buy off Amazon, it donates to charity. So there you go.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There you go. You can set up what charity you want it. You want it paying money to as well. So smile.amazon.co.uk. Always buy stuff that way. Makes you feel better about using old Jeffy Jeff's system.
Definitely make me feel a bit better anyway. Should we get into the plot of our movie? Should we talk about yours first? Should we talk about Atlantis Untold? Do you feel physically able to talk about this movie?
Oh, wow. Look, I just want to chuck a disclaimer out there
Okay.
to, I have not gone out and made a feature film. So fair play to these directors, a husband and wife team, Nigel Gallagher, Margie Gallagher. Fair play to them, just in case they ever listen to this. I don't want to trash on your film, and I just want you to know I've never made a film. Okay, so we're just going to chuck it out there. Maybe the word is ambitious. These guys were very ambitious, and I'm not sure that they were able to pull off the true vision
I
that
know.
they had for this film.
Discover a world you never knew existed, and paths you never traveled.
You open these pages.
Make the most dangerous journey of all, the journey of following your dreams. Know that you are guided by forces unseen.
Interesting it is to dream, boy.
So, Atlantis Untold is the story about a brother and sister who are shipwrecked and into this like strange place. And this is the thing. This is where I find it really difficult to even tell you what happened. They meet a bunch of people and they're searching for Atlantis at one point. I'm not really sure why they're searching for Atlantis. The kid is crowned king of some area that isn't Atlantis. Do you know what? It's weird, and it honestly, it feels like a theater production filmed on a green screen. It even opens with like this kind of movie maker curtain pulling up the screen
Oh
to
yeah,
reveal
they like a
the
fade, don't
studio.
they?
Oh my god, crossfades galore. The opening images alone. I didn't have a clue what was going on. Everything is faded together. Why is everything transparent? I do not know. It literally opens and says
Must be a big fan of Star Wars.
something like, yeah, they have like these credits. They have these credits at the start that say this story is about your happiness,
Oh, okay.
your Atlantis, to follow your dreams, to remember who you are, and to never give up.
It's trying to be like all encompassing, isn't it? It's like it's trying to like hit at every emotion, and it thinks that it's doing that too. I think I saw. I don't know. Was this in the trailer? The opening credits look like it's like whenever you watch one of those Forged in Fire sort of programs. It looked it looked like that sort of font, or something like you get out of a museum. It was just absolutely
Yeah.
bizarre.
It never knows what it wants to be. Like some of the narration has text at the start, so you're listening to it and you're reading it, and then that disappears. Then the narration's just the narration.
Yeah.
It feels like a book at times where they're literally describing what is happening on the screen. It's weird. The opening scenes, there was part of me that maybe like I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. The camera's moving around a lot. I was like, okay, it's not very static. A static camera is usually the sign of an amateur, but it's moving all the time.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to a scene where it's moving in a different direction, and it's really erratic. And you have a scene which is set in a kitchen, and it's green screened. It's green screened. They couldn't find a kitchen.
Obviously, when I was provisionally like looking into this movie, I've watched a couple of scenes just to see if it was right for you. You know, I really wanted to curate this movie for you, and I did see the opening scene with the kitchen, and it's like because the camera's moving too, the background moves when it shouldn't.
Yeah,
So it's like everything is like. Everything is like I got a wave effect on it. It's like nothing is. It's you're like in some surreal nightmare fever dream.
yeah, and it's not even good. Like it's not like good green screen. It's bad. It's blurry. It's pixelated. They're not cut in very well to the picture. It's so erratic. It's ridiculous that they couldn't just film in a kitchen. Surely you've got a kitchen, right? I mean, I don't want to be the privileged asshole that says you don't have a kitchen, but somebody has a kitchen. There was enough people working on this production because they've got a cast. They got a quite a big cast. There's a lot of people in the credits at the end that they've convinced to be in this film. Somebody's got a kitchen. Somebody's got a kitchen.
I imagine, Alex, that it's a group of people who've probably never made a film before and they do not know how lighting works. So the only option they could do is to make an artifice interior or for every scene because they don't know how to light it. They don't know how to light a kitchen naturally.
But it's more difficult to light with green screen because nothing looks natural because the lighting on the characters doesn't look like the green screen. But again,
It's a feat of ambition.
yeah, I haven't made a film. I haven't made a film. Maybe I would decide when making my feature film that I would need to green screen a kitchen. So, I'm just chucking the disclaimer out there again.
But maybe try like a small drama or like a comedy before you go into like epic, all encompassing life mission journey through time and space,
fantasy fairy tale kind of
cast of
thing.
100.
It's weird. And yeah, and it honestly, the acting does feel like it's theater. It's very odd, and like timelines skip around in the first 5 minutes before you've even got a sense of place.
Yeah.
There's ghosts and dead mums, and you just don't have a clue what's going on. Like honestly, I don't understand, and I'm pretty sure the camera's on autofocus at all times. Like sometimes they focus, sometimes then it focuses on something in the background. Uh, it's weird.
And a hell of a score.
Oh yeah. Maybe the saving grace is the score. The score clearly has had some effort put into it.
Well, that's actually really kind.
I'm not saying the film hasn't had some effort put into it.
Misguided effort.
There's a vision, an ambitious vision. But yeah, oh man, I feel awful. But yeah, the score is fine. It's fine. It's very melodramatic.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Right, Alex.
It's better than what you're seeing on the screen. That's all I'm gonna say. It's better than what you can see on the screen.
Is it?
The sound mix is all over the place, but the score, there's clearly
You've added it to your Spotify playlist already.
No, it's not on my Spotify playlist. It's not on my Spotify playlist. But I'm just saying there's a smidgen of talent behind the score. I definitely couldn't write a score or create a score like that. I'd like to think I could make a better film. But like a Gab said,
just
slightly. So and I also like the fact that Falmouth was name dropped, which is obviously a place close to my heart, as I studied there. So Falmouth represent.
Oh yeah, definitely done service. Yeah,
they don't go there, but there is a photograph of somebody there. Which is then green screened into a talking photograph, obviously. But I'm pretty sure the photograph looked like it had actually been taken in Falmouth, so that's good. Worth saying that this is a South Australian production, so I doubt they made it anywhere near Falmouth. And even if they were in Falmouth, I'm sure they'd still green screen it. I think there's a couple of shots on an actual beach, and then it's green screened on a beach. I just didn't have a clue what was happening half the time. I put the subtitles on because I couldn't hear what was happening.
It's a fundamental important thing to put in your movie.
Exactly. It took about 40 minutes for our kids to crash on this boat and to be stranded on this island. You don't see Atlantis till nearly the very end. It kind of defies all logic of a kind of structured film in a way.
So, like, talking about performances, do we get any bad guys or any sort of challenges along the way? Any good?
Oh yeah, there's a whole host of them. There's a whole host of different things which I guess were meant to be, like each interaction provides a new element of
character development.
It doesn't feel like that at all. There is a bad guy.
He's on the poster.
One part. He's on the poster. Yeah, like he gives it his all. I don't know what to say about him, Chris. I don't know what to say. He's a smaller part than the trailers provide. He's very small, but he has this whole monologue about your dreams being Atlantis and not being able to ever go to your dreams because you can't stop dreaming. This is the thing. Did not have a clue what was going on at any moment in time.
In a way, aren't we all Atlantis?
Something like that. I'm sure that's what it was going for. I
feel like you're actually being very kind right now. I feel like inside you want to let rip, but you're just hesitant. I mean, they're not gonna listen to this.
Look, all right, it's probably one of the worst films I've ever seen.
There we go.
And I don't even know if I'd call it a film. It's an hour and 40, You
know what? I did watch a few scenes, and I was like, right, I've picked this movie for Alex. And then when it was locked down and confirmed, I felt so bad after what you revealed that you give to me. I felt absolutely like the worst person. I've learned my lesson. But I'm actually just really proud that you made the way through it, because it's one of those movies that I only watched about 20 minutes of it, but I could feel like if I watched the whole thing in one sitting, I would probably turn into a crazy person.
This is the thing. This is the thing, Chris. I won't lie. I couldn't finish it in one sitting.
Yeah.
It took me about 3 goes to get through this film, and honestly, on the third one, I thought there was going to be more, but it got to a point where I was like, okay, I have a bit of time. I'm just going to let it play, and then I checked the time several times, and by the seventh time, I was like, "Oh, we're only like 20 minutes away from the end. I could do this. I could do this." And then there's quite a nice song that pops up. I recommend you seek that bit out if you want to see any. It's called the Bluebird of Happiness. There's quite a nice melody, and then you see the Bluebird of Happiness, which is just a 3-year-old girl. Just barely flapping her arms on a bloody green screen.
Does she look like was she just like floating or something in the air? Or what's
She's floating very kind of like, like when somebody tells you to flap your arms,
right? Okay.
and you're like, oh, is this what you want me to do? You want like,
she's not even knowing what she's doing. All right, that sucks.
Pretty much. So like, it's interesting. It's probably the funniest part of the film, unintentionally. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the Bluebird of Happiness song was stuck in my head afterwards.
Bluebird of Happiness.
Bluebird of Happiness.
He loves it. He loves it.
That one I might add to my Spotify.
Oh boy.
But yeah, Chris, man. Oh, I wanted to murder you when I was watching this film. I wanted to murder you for your choice of making me watch this. I came up with this segment to have a bit of fun,
rethinking the whole segment,
have fun and laugh at these films. I just, yeah. Thanks for that, man. You made it an endurance test. You made this whole segment an endurance test.
I just wanted to see how devoted to your craft you were. Evidently, you are.
Yeah. I will take that. I'll take that. If I've achieved anything from this experience, it is my devotion to this podcast, I hope.
Well, I think I trump you in the fact that I was able to watch your movie in 2 sittings. So
okay.
Winning slightly, but
go on then. Tell us about your experience with Derailed.
Happy Halloween, everyone. Murder Mystery Express will be departing in 5 minutes.
We are now boarding the Murder Mystery Express.
Welcome aboard, please.
I welcome you to the M train. Mystery that must be solved, for by the conclusion of this evening, someone will die.
How long are we gonna run from this thing?
As long as we can.
There's gotta be some way to stop it.
One of this is just the way it ends.
yeah, like I said, I thought it was going to be a really fun time. I was wrong. The movie was boring, man. It was really boring.
It's not even that long, is it?
It's like a straight 80 minutes.
Oh, it's still boring.
The story revolves around like a themed night for a group participating in a murder mystery train performance thing. They've all bought tickets to go out to this train, and like they pay actors. It's like whenever you go to like a dinner performance. Anyway, this is like quickly disrupted when 2 of the passengers halfway through the journey reveal that they are hijacking the train and robbing the guests. Now the passengers are wondering, is this just part of the act or is this for real? Well, that becomes pretty clear when the conductor is murdered, causing the train to speed up and derail into a river. Story then turns into a horror film all of a sudden when 3 strange looking like amphibious carnagey venom looking creatures start picking the passengers off one by one.
And so it's like they looked pretty good from the trailer, right?
That is the good part of the film. Yeah. It's the movie is like 10 genres in one, so all of which are done pretty badly. Oh gosh, I just find myself being like excessively bored of the initial plot line with the murder mystery, and then when it turned into a horror survival film, I was then wishing that we would go back to the murder mystery again because that was even more boring. I mean, like, oh, I will say this, and it's a thing the movie, like you said, gets really, really right. The movie gets right is that the look of the creatures look really well done, and the investment is definitely put into them, really well designed and not overused as well. There's a little bit of a restraint there. We even get to see one of the victims being like eaten whole by one of them in one scene, which is done like this really impressive practical effect shot in an otherwise very badly CGI'd movie.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the bit that really took me out of this, actually, there was multiple moments that took me out of this film, but the first one was once the train carriage crashed into the water and everybody came to and they woke up. They all start going into this weird frenzy of panic and screaming. I mean, it's like really grating how panicked they get. And the reason for this is that they claim that we can't see, we can't see. It's too dark. Someone get a light. Someone get a light. And she's like screaming at the top of her lungs. But even though the whole scene is completely lit. In fact, you can actually. It's like it's shot in daylight. It's like at most I can. To be fair, it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe at a stretch, and everyone is screaming and fighting each other over not being able to see, and like getting like a little match and like looking around. And it's just like it goes on for about. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, sounds it.
Yeah, like the second thing, which really erases any goodwill or logic that the movie had going for it, and that wasn't a lot to begin with, was the ending. Oh my god, the ending, Alex, was the most hokey thing I've ever known. Our main character, Evelyn, who is the last girl standing in this movie, manages to find her way back to the train station after surviving this terrible attack from the monsters, begs for help from the people working at the station. Lance Henriksen, who I mentioned from the Alien franchise, finally shows up for his paycheck at the end of the movie.
He's not on the train or anything.
He's in the first 2 minutes at the opening, and he's in the last like 2 minutes. So he finally shows up for his paycheck, and he asks what her name is, and to which the employees say, and he then explains, or it's revealed that everyone we've just watched in this accident, in this train derailment, were actually people from 100 years ago. He hears the name Evelyn. He's like, "Is that? You mean Evelyn from 100 years ago? He died in the train crash."
What?
So it's revealed that everyone we just watched in this whole movie is just like a ghost / vision of the past. I don't even know what it is. It's not even made that clear. And then the movie ends by copying The Shining on the photograph of the passengers 100 years ago.
No.
So it's like, what? Yeah, it just completely does a 180, and it's like, so everything I just watched was like not real, like, or it was like an image of the past. It's bizarre.
So wait, it's a heist film, a murder mystery, a natural disaster, a monster horror, and a ghost film, all at the same time,
all in one. Yeah, like it does actually sound fun, but it's not.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my head around it. So she was on the. She was the only real person on the train.
No, everybody. She's the last survivor. Basically, what you're seeing is like an image of the past in today, and then once she doesn't even know that she's in this time loop. And then once she looks around, she sees a calendar in the room, and then it's like 2019 or whatever. And then she looks in the mirror herself. She's like, "Oh right, I'm in 2019," and then she disappears.
So she's not from 2019 either.
No, everybody in this cast, apart from at the end, are from like 1919 or wherever. Everybody on the train, and then they all die. But this is just like what you're seeing is like a vision of the past. So as soon as everybody gets on the train, we're transported back in time. But there's no point trying to make sense of it because none of it does. None of it tracks. No pun intended.
Oh my god, this sounds absolutely ridiculous. Where are the monsters from?
Yeah, that's not explained either. They're just like there. They're just in this river.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's weird because they're on this train journey. There's this one guy who's like a murder mystery enthusiast. It's like, oh, this is my 20th train this year. you know, I've been on this. I've seen them do this routine. I'll watch him as he stabs this guy and everything, and he's like the comedy relief. But it's like, how does that fit into the narrative then? If this is like the past, if this is a guy who goes on this train all the time, it's like it just doesn't make sense. I'm not even going to spend the effort it requires to try to make sense of it because there's no thought put into it at all.
Wow. So, a very interesting film that I got you to watch. Then I thought it was. I honestly thought it was going to be more fun than what you've made it out to be. So it was more of a slog.
Yeah, the trailer promises a lot and it doesn't deliver. It's also got Lance Henriksen as First Bill.
Oh really? Oh
First
man,
4
I bet
minutes.
there was no way that film was getting made without him.
He doesn't even know. Like he doesn't even look like he knows what he's doing. He's just saying lines.
Oh man. So not a recommendation.
Yeah. Well, no. I don't think it's as bad as Atlantis Untold, but at least like the movie looked decent half the time.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish Atlantis Untold on my worst enemies, honestly. And the fact that you that you did it to me, Kris, speaks volumes for your character.
Well, I'm a sadist.
I can't believe you would let me watch that.
Well, there's always room to get me back. Please don't.
That's if I ever want to do this again, Kris. After you making me watch Atlantis Untold, I think I might call the podcast quits after 9 episodes.
It definitely wasn't a soft opening into the segment. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you just wait, man. You just wait. Next time. I guess the question has to be asked then: should Derailed be forgotten?
I will say it's interesting. Like you said, in terms of a conversation of ambition, like I said, it's fun to see a movie try 10 different things. But so for that reason, I think it's worth checking out if you're a schlocky horror fan. But if you want a good movie, stay away. Stay away.
Is it even a fun B movie or not really?
That's the thing. It's so I would say it's so self-invested in itself as a drama and so self-serious that instead of knowing it was stupid, so that became more drawn out and made it dull as an experience because nothing was and none of the performances were bad enough to be laughable. They were just, everything was mediocre, and that's the worst kind of B movie to watch.
Sometimes it's good when these films aren't self-aware, and sometimes that makes it funnier.
Yes.
But yeah, if it's not self-aware but also not funny or interesting,
it's in like a sort of like limbo land between
Yeah.
good and bad, so you can't. Yeah,
it makes it painful then.
It just makes it boring. Yeah.
Boring, painful. And I think I would also say that Atlantis Untold can be forgotten. Sorry, Atlantis Untold. Again, too self-serious, not self-aware at all. But it's also like nothing about it is funny. I mean, I laughed at the absurdity of it all.
It's like an hallucinogenic, isn't it, when you watch it?
It's just, like I said, like crossfades galore. Everything fades into itself. Everybody's transparent. You don't know what's going on. The performances aren't big enough to laugh at, and they're nowhere near good enough to be considered interesting. But it reeks of this kind of like community making a film together that makes it really painful to kind of...
Well, like it was made by a cult.
I don't know about a cult, but you almost feel like
like a brethren.
Here's a small village come together to make this film, and it's maybe their baby, and you don't want to hurt their baby, but at the same time,
it's like a hamlet in the deepest, darkest part of Australia where they don't even get a telephone line.
I mean, somebody should have just even looked up like how to make a film. The basic story, like it honestly,
or watch a film.
It feels like a bad play, like a bad amateur dramatic play. The whole village has been involved, and
there's a lot of scenes. I mean, like it must have been really hard for the actors. It must have been very dull experience. Seeing that it's all shot in the same room, from what I've seen on their website.
Oh, really? I mean, the kids look bored at times, and kind of understand why. I'd love to chat to the kids in like 10 years time, and just be like, so what was this all about? Like, what did you get involved with here? Like, what is the behind the scenes of this film? Why were you cast as these people? Man, it feels bad crapping on it, but honestly, one of the worst films I've ever seen ever.
One?
Oh man, I think I've only got like 3 half-star reviews on Letterboxd, and this is one of them. And I usually save half-star films for films that like are offensively bad. And I wouldn't say this was offensive to me,
It's not
but
enough
like
to annoy you, yeah.
it's offensive to filmmaking to call it a film.
Yeah, you wonder sometimes how people can get it so wrong.
Definitely, definitely. But fair play to them. They made a film. I have not made a film, and I'll keep it there.
All right. Yeah, so I don't know what really there is left to say about these movies. I mean, like they said, I think they're both going into the they're not being archived. They are being put into the lost and never to be found list, right?
Yep. The films that streaming rightfully forgot. I don't even know how you found this one, Chris. So fair play to you. I clearly am gonna have to spend a bit more time if we ever do this again, going through the depths of trashy films to challenge you to watch. But yeah, I mean, everybody listening, if you've enjoyed this and you want to see us do more of this, then please let us know. Like, it has been somewhat fun to watch these, just as a challenge itself to endure them. But yeah, I think there's got to be something out there. Something out there, Chris, is going to blow our minds in a good way when we see it. Surely,
Okay.
we've just got to keep kind of scraping the depths.
So are we going to change this a little bit? Are we going to try to actually find something that like is lost to time, but and nobody knows about, but actually could be resurrected and be quite could be, is a hidden gem?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I want to find these kind of like these derailed and Atlantis Untold, and just go. Is there something in it that's worth watching? Like, I would love to take a film that looks like it could be bad but also fun, and recommend it to our audience and say, "Do you know what? Have a few beers and watch this."
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's going
with
to be loads in
these
there.
two, clearly not the ones. Let us know. I'd definitely like to do this again. What about you, Chris?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm really nervous about next time because I feel like it's going to be like Empire Strikes Back with Alex here. He's going to like absolutely throw something even worse than Atlantis Untold.
I don't know if I'd ever be able to find something as better. You might have you might. I feel like it can only go up from here potentially. At
You're
least
not
from
wrong.
my side, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Is that a challenge?
That's the challenge. I will not. We'll go back to kind of catching up with each other next week.
Yeah.
But I think we'll definitely bring this back at some point, unless the audience tells us not to. So there we go.
If all else fails, you can we can keep watching these movies, and you can slowly see two grown men lose their minds over the period of a year.
Definitely stop balding and my face gets wrinkles and I got eye bags. I'm slowly getting more and more tired. The joy is sucked out of my life.
End up looking like Palpatine by the end of this year.
Oh man, you probably could turn me into a Sith Lord if you made me watch Atlantis Untold any more times than I already have. But there you go. I guess that's an hour and 40 minutes of my life I won't get back. And I was thinking at that a lot with this film, and I wonder if one day on my deathbed I'll be like, my big regret is not spending that 1 hour and 40 minutes watching something else.
If anything else, though, Atlantis is a subject that a lot of people like to talk about and speculate. You know way more about Atlantis now than most people on this planet. You and the population of the small town in Adelaide are the only insiders.
I would argue that I know even less, and if anything, it has stunted any curiosity that was ever there in the start. Atlantis is dreams, man. Atlantis is your dreams, and
Atlantis is all of us.
Atlantis is your happiness, and one day we can all fly with the bluebird of happiness.
Great. Is this going to be like? It's going to be like the Sun Baby and Teletubbies in like 20 years. Where is she now?
Yeah. You think you feel old now? Well, the bluebird of happiness has 2 kids.
The bluebird of the hell's the bluebird of happiness?
Why am I reading this? Let's put this segment to rest, and we'll be back next week to kind of catch up with each other on some films we've been watching, where surely nothing can be as bad as the films we've watched for this episode today. So
Don't tempt me, Alex. Don't tempt me.
that's it for today's episode of The Film Angle. I'm Alex.
I'm Kris. Goodbye.